Hello and welcome to episode 209 of our SAP on Azure Video Podcast. Today is September 20th, and together with Robert and Goran, we are here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
So today we have finally Robert back in our show. Robert was and still is actually an active member of the podcast. But you might have noticed that Robert was not able to attend some of our last recordings that Goran and I met. That obviously had there were a lot of reasons behind this, because Robert was extremely busy in his new role. So first of all, Robert, welcome back again to our show. I hope you find everything very familiar here.
Yep.
I mean, we are obviously still in contact very much, but maybe you can talk a little. So you were at Microsoft, or no, you were at SAP before, then you joined Microsoft for a long time, and now you're back with SAP. And maybe you can tell us a little about what you're actually doing now at SAP.
Yeah. Okay. So. The interesting journey. I think your journey is also not much different, and also Goran, we are somehow have the same rhythm. Yeah. Okay. I joined SAP back now in February this year, beginning of this year, and I joined Enterprise Cloud Services (ECS), or HAC, how it's called before, or actually we are responsible for complete SAP RISE. And I joined the team and we are dealing with big customers, so a little bit more complex challenges, a little bit more complex landscapes, sometimes very, very complex landscapes. And it's somehow from the beginning was fun, from mixture of I was 16 years before by SAP, so I already know the rhythm and the culture, so to say, but it's interesting mixture of old feelings, and also old expectations, which are not anymore there. But it's also new challenges. Some of guys are there, some of guys are not anymore there. Yeah. And so it was fun. I mean, like always, when you join a big company, you always need to start with those education around policy, code of conduct and everything, which is normal in big companies. And then, rolling together with the team, joining the team, understanding what is your role and so on. So when we are talking about roles, so my role is role as a technical architect. So responsible for tooling in our organization, which, so what does it mean? So, in some cases, existing tooling or existing setup or everything what we are trying to build to help a customer to be successful sometimes are not working. They're working but not applied to all complex requirements. So my role is somehow to balance all those existing tooling and see where we can introduce new tooling, but not in a way inventing hot water, in a way that we introduce some more layers of something which is missing between tooling. And sometimes it's a challenge. Of course, you need somehow to switch between different processes which are completely new. Everything is new what we are doing, so there's no somehow that you can open some old book and say, okay, let's do it again. And it's from one side a challenge, but this is also fun,
No, absolutely. And I think if you, this is probably a perfect continuation of what you've done. I think in the very beginning at SAP, you were in early prototyping. You played around with a lot of tools. You did a lot of things there. I think you also worked a lot with the Llama, with the Landscape Manager tool, to basically operate big landscapes, but then also at SAP, at Microsoft, I think you worked a lot with partners and helped them get started with SAP on Azure, with the whole running an SAP system on Azure and so on. So I think it sounds like you are again in a perfect spot to help customers.
It's interesting when you're talking about running at SAP on Azure, from Microsoft perspective, when I was Microsoft, you position SAP on Azure as hey guys, how you can leverage Microsoft Cloud to to host SAP system, to improve that, to have scalability, to have flexibility. And, we know the boundaries, but we also sometimes go over these boundaries and say, yeah, you can do it. Now I'm back to reality, so to say, where you can say, yeah, dreaming is nice, but still, not because of technology problems. Sometimes also technology has an issue or is not mature enough, but also because simply complex. You cannot just imagine that some complex customer decide to go in different way just because it's fun. I mean, there's no such way, because it's expensive, it's dangerous, and customer, have a living system, living production is a little bit different. But also from other perspective, I start like as a hardcore developer. I'm still in hardcore developer, and then switch to Microsoft with sales, pre-sales, and now I'm so-called in delivery modus. It's different blocks of experience, but it's fun. It's from one perspective, you're learning, how to go deeper in architecture. From other perspective, how to have a headache in sales, pre-sales, reach KPIs.
Yeah.
And now in delivery, you are more on the ground level, and you are somehow combining all those knowledge and trying to help customer to really be productive.
No, and I think you're absolutely right. At Microsoft, I think also in your role, when you talk to the partners, it was a lot about getting partners started, showing them the art of the possible, so that they could take some of these things and maybe not implement everything one-to-one, but take their lessons learned and then implement it with customers. Now you're in delivery and ECS or RISE. I think there are thousands of RISE customers in the meantime. So
exactly.
it's you really have to be careful what you do with these customers, how you operate these customers, because I mean, working with one customer is very easy. You can just call them and then look, I need a downtime, or I need to do this and that, and then it's very easy. But if you have 10, if you have hundreds, if you have thousands of customers, that's obviously a very, very different story, and there are a lot of things that you need to consider.
Just the story in Microsoft. I still have the same rhythm, because when something is new coming from Microsoft, I'm reading about that and checking how to implement that. And you have the nice tools and potential tools in your desk, but you cannot use it. It's not because you don't have a knowledge, or colleague does not have knowledge, or it's not because you cannot. You need the time to adopt that. Customer from some valid reasons are not so fast, and adoption phase is much slower today than the technology is going. And if you take a look on Copilot and AI and everything, it's not so present in infrastructure, in a, let's say, deployment part, but it's slowly going there, slowing. Then will probably change also speed there, and probably introduce new challenges.
So it's interesting that you mentioned their AI, because obviously Microsoft is doing a lot with SAP on AI. I think of all the Joule and Copilot integration. There are a lot of things that we are doing there. And what was really interesting from my point of view was when we started to have these discussions, it was not only about the best and greatest model out there. I mean, arguably GPT-4o, all on Azure OpenAI, they are the leading large language models, but that was not the only reason why customers use Azure OpenAI, but it's also scalability. Is it available globally? Are enough GPUs available? So if Joule is used by one customer, great. But what about 10, 100, thousands customers? Would Azure OpenAI still be able to scale? And I think that's, I guess, the very same situation with RISE, with Enterprise Cloud Service. You cannot just pick the most shiny, newest tool out there, but you need to make sure that this tool is good to operate thousands of RISE customers.
But there's true, absolutely, absolutely correct. But there's also another story. Let's say, okay, we have a Porsche, we have a Ferrari. You are talking about Ferrari options, what you can do with that new stuff and everything else. But still, we must understand that sometimes, not because customer is lazy or don't want to change. Customer cannot change so fast, and there's a network settings. There's a configuration which you cannot change so easily. Yeah, so the adoption is sometimes a so big gap between that. And then actually it's also a challenge for Microsoft, I think, to say, hey, yeah, right, we need to fill this gap somehow. And I think we are all learning with how to somehow go step by step, fast enough, but still somehow with normal somehow speed rate, or I don't know how to call it, because this is exactly what I see. I know exactly how to help a customer. I know exactly what they need. Yeah, but you cannot simply announce something which is somewhere up here, and you are still on this level. As I mentioned, it's not that customer is doing something wrong. It's simply fact of you cannot transform customers so quickly. It's too expensive for them. Yeah. So there's always adoption journey.
No, absolutely.
How to do it.
I mean, you already mentioned some of the challenges, but so without obviously mentioning any customer names, but can you maybe talk about some of the challenges or things that you faced with customers where
I think
you need to do some special stuff?
We discussed many times about that. I mean, we can now philosophically start discussion about what is the cloud adoption, and I think there's a unlimited definition of that. Still, I think that most of the customers somehow have an issue with this adoption phase. Yeah, and also it's also our speed of suggestions how customers should go sometimes is not matching the speed how customers should somehow go on that journey inside the cloud. So challenge is always find the rhythm, and to stop be philosophical, just to convert to some concrete examples. Customers have complex networks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not perfect. Yeah. And maybe customer knows that, but you cannot change overnight the complex network to something perfectly good.
Interesting.
Because it's nightmare. You have IP range, you have subnets. It's not so easy.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go in challenges, to adopt something like, IP version 6 and something like that, which somehow everybody's talking about, but nobody's actually using it. Yeah. And then you need to prepare yourself for that future challenges. So, from the core perspective.
That's interesting. Yeah.
When you're going to other perspectives like operation management perspective and everything else, customers have their own tools. They want to continue with that, or they want to switch slowly in the new tooling what we are offering. It's challenge. It's for big customer is multiply with 100. Yeah. It's most small customer. Small customer, will say, okay, I will change my habits. Yeah. And I will do it as you suggest. But big customers are not doing that. You sometimes need to listen to them carefully what they are doing.
That's a really good point.
Not something for a few months. This is years over years adoption and changes and everything, because we are talking about hundreds of SAP systems in one big customer pools, and sometimes in thousands of systems. Yeah, and just imagine the complexity behind that. Yeah.
That gives the whole meaning of greenfield or brownfield a completely new meaning. Yeah. So it's not only about what you have inside your SAP system, like that you need to do a business conversion and whatever, but you also need to look at the existing network infrastructure. How does the RISE setup connect with the existing setup at the customers? Yeah, and I can imagine, I mean, from what I know, you mainly deal with the larger customers, which are even more complex, obviously, than smaller customers. So, okay, I can just imagine how much discussions you have about IP ranges and subnets and network integrations.
I mean, this is standard fun between techies. This is a known topic. This is nothing revolutionary there. There's already expectation about what you can go wrong. Yeah. But still, everybody from both sides, customer and our side, we are still somehow, I think, let's say, dreaming that we are using something which is better, and we are working on that. Yeah? So we are trying to modernize our tooling, our approach, and also on the customer side. And this is challenge. And then when you have a new customer, it's completely different story. You think, okay, this is the same customer. I already have experience with a big one. Trust me, you don't have it.
It's a different story again.
It's always because, you interact with humans, yeah, and you have a different approach how to approaching the problems, and your team, it's the same topic, but it's a little bit different approach. So, and this is normal, yeah, and you just need to switch the gear and find another rhythm, yeah.
But I still think now then for the customer, there is actually a huge value in this. And I think that is one of the value propositions of RISE, that
Exactly.
once you have figured out all this network configuration, once you have the integration into RISE, then all of a sudden it's almost like a SaaS solution that
Because
customers...
just I think, if you want to understand why customers are approaching to RISE, I mean, just imagine if you have a complex network, and this is your not core business, of course.
Yeah.
And if you succeed with all those challenges in adoption, in immigration, lift and shift, whatever you choose to take, one day that guy, other side, SAP RISE will say, okay, we will take over, and you are running your business. I mean, this is a huge step forward for most of the customer, that SAP, who is actually vendor of software we are using, is taking over responsibility of complete together with you, with the customer. Yeah. It's huge step for most of the customers. It's you are somehow say, okay, I'm not anymore responsible for the core business around the cables and networking and everything else. So now it's going in the cloud together with RISE, and SAP will take over. It will modernize my landscape, will patch my landscape regularly and everything else. And so it's, I think, huge step forward for any customer. So this is, I think, benefit of the RISE. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, since you are just coming from Microsoft, and I know, I mean, we had lots of joint workshops. We went to a lot of customers. We went to a lot of partners together. We had a lot of hackathons together with customers. So I know that your heart is for both SAP and Microsoft. So obviously, the question is, are you still doing something with SAP and Microsoft, or are you, at least at the moment, so much focused on pure SAP that there's very little Microsoft in your daily life?
Take a look. I mean, the easiest answer is that some of customer are, Azure only. There's this customer who are AWS only. But, and if you're working in environment where customer is on Azure, this is my world. This is where I'm very good, where I can very quickly find some and of course keeping track of what is happening around. Of course, what is missing, the ability to test everything, because on Microsoft, you have a subscription, you can do whatever you want, yeah, and it's somehow free, yeah. Here you need to be careful about spending, yeah. But
I guess you can test still, the latest S/4HANA system. I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's still, I'm techie in my heart, but and most of my knowledge is very connected to Microsoft from technical perspective. So of course I'm keeping that and developing. When I'm doing something like prototype and everything, of course I'm doing that with C# and everything else because I'm fast there. And but combination with HANA and everything else. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to keep that balance. I like that. And here with big customer, its challenges unlimited. There's no end story. I think I will go in retirement and there still will a huge set of tasks which need to be done. Yeah? It's simply amazing, how much job altogether in IT we still need to do to have really modernized and maybe AI enabled environment.
Yeah, this will all be replaced by AI.
Yeah. You just install it and it's done. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. AI will install it for you.
It's combination of of journey. From development architecture perspective, sales, pre-sales. Okay, there was also technical. I was also technical role at Microsoft, and then now back to delivery. It's nice mixture of combination of how you can reuse your knowledge. Yeah. What is challenging in SAP is also when I'm joined Microsoft, I was always convinced that SAP abbreviations are, wow, so complex. And then you join Microsoft and you discover, my God, this is much worse. And now you're back to SAP and you have no idea what is what anymore. Yeah. Because sometimes these three letters, oh, is this that or that or that? You have
Oh
no
yeah,
idea.
now you know all the abbreviations on the Microsoft side and on the SAP side.
Exactly. Yes. So, oh my God, what you are talking about? What is that? Okay. Okay. Now I know.
But it definitely sounds you still have a lot of fun in doing all these things.
I mean, it's sometimes like always in our job, you have tasks, you have somehow challenges, which you cannot believe they are still there. But when you try to solve them and invest your time, then you understand why they're still there. Because it's always some small, tiny detail which you cannot change because it's connected to something else which you cannot so easily change. It's fun. It's fun to have different dimensions. It's also fun to work with great people. I mean, it's also in SCS have very great people. I mean, the knowledge is always amazing. Yeah, we all know that we are missing. That we have a big hole in IT regarding the new resources and everything else. But still, I mean, what I face here in ECS and my team is really amazing combination of knowledge. Yeah. And this is also the same on Microsoft side. I think this is fun working with this major software giants, because you always deal somehow in connection with really professionals and really clever guys,
Yeah,
and this is additional fun,
Yeah, and I mean, luckily for us, so for Microsoft, and I mean, we know the surveys out there, the majority of customers are still using RISE on Azure. So I think this is fantastic for us. This is the foundation for a lot of really cool future collaborations, future integrations. And I think with your background now of Microsoft and SAP, you're in the perfect position to do this.
But this is also one switch which I need always to have in my head, because every time when I trying to find solution, I'm putting the Microsoft vision, and I need to learn to actually to say I'm cloud agnostic. Yeah.
No. Stay with Microsoft.
Stay. You don't
Robert,
need to.
You still have the heart on the Microsoft side and on the SAP side, so just keep going with this. Ignore the other hyperscalers.
Be politically correct.
Yeah. No, great. Robert, it was really great to catch up with you, and hopefully, obviously, you will join us in more other podcasts. I think the podcast is really all about SAP and Microsoft. So I think I really thought when you decided to move back to SAP that this is still a great place for us to collaborate, to continue our collaboration on the podcast. And I mean, we stay in contact, and we will also see you on the podcast.
I promise I will be a little bit more active now from now on.
All good. Cool.
Okay, great.
Robert, thank you so much for this quick update,
welcome.
and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.